drug her out in the woods or something, or somebody put her in her car and took her not too far away or whatever like that. But I'm starting to wonder if it isn't some high-end thing. Maybe somebody's seen her on Facebook, because my wife was always posting stuff on Facebook. It could have been, she could be anywhere. I haven't, my mind just goes back and forth. I don't.
Let's go back to the day, okay?
Yes. Yes.
Unpack that day for me. When did you leave for work? And then when the 911, or when you...
I left early that morning. Summer was by my side, and I left for work. And, I worked all day, and then I called her at some point, I guess when she was in Walgreens. I says, well, what are you doing, and so she said something about taking them out to the lake or whatever. I thought, well, hell, I might as well just work late, because there's no point in me going home. They're out doing their thing, and I might as well just stay late and do what I can. And then, my boss come by and made fun of me. She's about my car. She said, I was using that brand new car for drywall, and giving me a hard time about that.
You said Summer was by your side. What does that mean?
She was asleep by my side when I woke up.
Okay, got it. And what time was that approximately?
I'd say about 7. Okay. Maybe earlier, 6:30 or 7, somewhere in there.
Okay. And
yeah, she had to be by me. She just had to be by me. Loves me to death. I could say just one harsh word to her and she would break down. I'd have to apologize to her 10 times over.
Right.
I mean, it just kills me that she's gone.
And her room was right next door to yours too.
Yeah, and we tried to make her sleep in her own bed, and she'd come to me with big tears in her eyes and say, "But Daddy, I want to sleep with you. Yeah. I want to be with you." And I couldn't say no. I just couldn't.
And how long has she been doing that?
For 5 years.
Wow.
All her life.
Every night?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's a bond.
Yes.
Yeah.
My name is Dee, and you're watching Slop. Please like, subscribe, and share. We have memberships open now, and we're starting live streams around the 21st of the month. Yes, it was a bond. To Dawn, it was a special bond. And Candace knew about that bond, and she let it go on. She lived with it. She lived every day of 5 years with that bond and let it go on. Candace Bly knew. Candace Bly is just as guilty as Dawn Wells when it comes to that mistreatment of her daughter's son.
What time do you get up, and what do you remember last about seeing Summer?
All I remember is when I woke up is her feet and her foot being under me, kind of, I remember her being there, and I covered her up a little bit or whatever and left, and she sleeps just right between me and Mom every night,
Right.
But, I just went to work, normal day. Luckily, I guess.
Luckily, he guesses. Well, luckily, he would want everybody to think it was just a normal day. But we all know that day was not a normal day.
But a couple of guys I talked to that day, and the big boss seen me that day, knows where I was. And it wasn't.
In my opinion, Don Wells spent too much time and too much energy trying to establish his alibi.
30 minutes, 40 minutes after Jamie left, we sit there and talk for 30 minutes, just sit there and talk,
Yeah,
but after he left,
okay.
Jamie's he's another finisher that was working out here.
Got it. So you leave the house. What car do you take that day? I forget.
I had the Subaru that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't you take your truck that day? People are going to ask that.
Well, because the car was just sitting there, my tools in there, and started driving it for a little while, just because,
Yeah. You take the truck, the car. How far away is your job? What are you doing?
It is 45 minutes away in Jonesboro.
And then, what time do you get there? Do you remember?
Now listen to this next part real carefully. It's important.
I don't. I probably probably went and had some breakfast, somewhere or whatever, and come out here.
We certainly have a problem right here. We just heard Don tell Chris Jonesboro was 45 minutes away, so he must have been at home when he was talking to Chris. We just heard Don Wells tell Chris he probably went and got some breakfast and came back out here. Boom. There it is, folks. There it is, right there. Let's uncover that under the cover man, Don Wells.
And where was she when you called her? Do you know?
So I think she said she was either at Walgreens or headed to the lake, or I can't remember. But that's all.
Don is trying to act like he can barely remember that day or something. He remembers every word, he remembers every move, because it was a script. Everybody knew the script.
Well, I thought, I might as well just stay and work, because, that's just what I do. But,
yeah, I mean, so when you got the call, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
well, she called frantic, panicking. And I said, well, just in case, hang up and call 911.
Candace Bly never called 911 that day. Don Wells did. But when the cops got to their house, Candace didn't even go outside and talk to them. They had coerced her with a bottle of booze to get her to talk. In my mind, that's clue number one. If your child is missing, you're going to want to talk everything you can to LE in order to help find that child. Not hide in the house. She called David Dotson. She called Robin Lane. She called Allie. She called Hunter. But she couldn't talk to the LE. Clue number one to me. Candace Bly has never been cooperative in the search for Summer Wells. In the quest of Summer Wells, Candace has not been cooperative at all. Zero, nada, zilch. She has not even wanted to talk to authorities about it. We've seen her run out of video, out of interviews. We've seen her shy away from answering those questions on shows, on Crazy Critters and Crime Show, on Jinky's Rumor Has It. The only time we've seen Candace really open up, she was dog-ass drunk.
And I thought for some reason, I thought it was 5:30. To be honest with you, I don't trust police. And we showed them all the information on our phones because they wanted to know. They wanted to know the timeline, so we showed them right then. When I got there, they wanted to know all that. And they wrote it all down.
This man acts like he is offended because people won't believe his abduction story.
And when you got there, do you remember what time you arrived?
I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention. I was on Messenger with Candace as she was driving her mother's truck around looking for her there, because normally we don't have connection like that.
Right.
As soon as it's kind of odd.
And what was she driving?
Her mother's truck.
The Chevy, the Silverado?
Yeah.
And what was Grandma doing when you showed up?
I don't even know what she was doing. I think talking to the police and probably just standing there looking or whatever. I don't know.
And what were the boys doing?
Looking for Summer. And then once all the police started arriving, they, bottlenecked all the roads. Nobody could move. So they was in a state of confusion and panic, I'd say.
Now,
cops in and out.
Was there a car at the bottom of your driveway when you pulled up? Like a
no
cop car or anybody? You just pulled right up?
There was nobody there. I was the first one there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
And what about when you got there, what was your first impression of where you should search first?
Well, that's why I drove down to the bottom because I didn't even go to the house. I went straight by that shed on the bottom.
Yeah, is that the one where off the bottom of your property to the
Yes.
Okay.
I got that little dirt road. I went past that. I went straight down that hill, straight to the creek, and that's when I seen my boys. And then I seen my neighbor Don walking to the left side. The boys were on the other side of the hill, and I knew, like I say, I knew my heart just sank. Well, I figured they was looking all over the house, and I was thinking, well, they probably ain't been out buying property yet or anything, so that's what made me drive down there first.
Now, y'all know Don Wells is a crack cocaine addict. He smokes it mostly all the time. He takes it to work with him. He brings it home with him. It's my opinion, in my opinion only, that Don Wells went down there and hid his utensil that he smoked it on.
And then, did you go into that shed?
No.
Is that yours too, by the way, real fast?
Yeah, that's ours. Well, I don't know if I checked it then or later, but I know I did go in there and look. But I'm not sure if it was right then, or I might have parked and walked in there and looked real quick. I just don't remember. But once I knew she was gone, I went to the top of the house.
Now remember, Don and Candace had talked to each other that whole time while he was coming home. He knew exactly what was happening because she told him. He already knew every move that she had made since she called him, because she was still on the phone with him. She was still on Messenger with him. It wasn't like she called him and they hung up and then he drove blindly into this situation. Don Wells knew every move that Candace was making that day because she was telling him at this particular time. To my motherly instinct, there's a little problem here. If my daughter just vanished and I think somebody got her, I'm adamant from the beginning that somebody came up there and got her. I'm not going to send my 3 other children down anywhere. I'm going to keep them up under me like a mother hen until I find my other child. I'm not going to send them down into the danger zone. She even went so far as to say they had pocket knives and a walkie-talkie. I do not believe that. What makes me not believe that? Because 15 minutes ago you couldn't even get their eyes unglued from the TV watching YouTube. Now you're sending them down in the woods with walkie-talkies and knives. And anyway, there's something else strange here. If you know for a fact somebody put your little girl in a car and left with her, why are you sending your boys down to the creek? Seen many of Candace's photos. I know for a fact there's a clown living down there in Candace's soul somewhere. A clown. Candace Bly isn't a serious, do-good mother. She is a trickster. Like a wolf waiting in the shadows to get somebody. She's a trickster. We've seen it before.
This was Don's first on-camera interview since going to LA and coming back home, and since those charges on him have mounted. Now, he told me, though, that he knows he's no media darling.
I have lost control. I've done stupid things, and for that I apologize.
Confessions of a father who says he has struggled emotionally since the disappearance of his daughter.
Your channel.
No, I don't. It's a video. I didn't even. I was watching the News Nation videos from today.
Well, whatever. You still have the little bitch on your channel.
Well, I didn't. I mean, I could see that he was on the. I mean, yeah, we're watching. It's about summer. I mean,
it's not about summer. It's about you. It's about Chris Sam. It's about
well, Chris McDonough was talking about.
It's not about summer at all. We're sick of y'all. Not one of you can it doesn't matter.
What is it? I don't understand what upset you because I haven't. This wasn't even that bad. I don't understand.
Every one of you know that Summer was abducted, but you got to keep running her name in the ground and keep running us in the ground because y'all don't give a fuck about nobody but
She was abducted by somebody she knows. I don't think there's any way that she just randomly.
Just because you can run your mouth, just like
You know she was abducted by somebody she knows. You know she was abducted by somebody she knows.
Get you somewhere.
You know
who cares?
You know she was abducted by somebody that you guys know. You even said that Candace made the wrong friend. So you're thinking it too.
Candace has told the truth from the beginning, but y'all too good to listen to the truth.
Oh my gosh, I'm just repeating what you said earlier.
Man.
I'm just repeating what you just said.
Listen. My story hasn't changed from day one, and it never will because I told the truth from day one, and so is Candace, and it never will change. It will always be the same because we've always told the truth. We have nothing to lie about. So listen, the story from day one. Summer was abducted. Why don't you all help us find her instead of being...
That's what we're trying to figure out. We're playing the news clips that you freaking just...
And that's not all.
No, you haven't been nice, though, the whole time, you've been talking all this crap.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm live with you, say what you're going to say, man. While I'm talking to you, say what you're going to say.
Well, look, man, it's really...
Why are you going to be nice now all of a sudden?
Wait a minute. Are we going to talk, or are you going to talk over me?
Wait a minute.
No, you wait a minute. You called my show.
No, you've been sitting here. You're the one.
Yes, it's my show, Don.
About me. You have no idea about it. Yeah, it's your show. I don't even need to talk to you, really, because you know what? People know the truth.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Well, let me. Can I ask you a couple questions?
You're a Chris McDonough wannabe.
Whatever that means. Okay, well then you're a scumbag, not wannabe. Talk to me. I have a question for you,
man. You know what?
Let me ask you a question, Don.
No, let me ask you a question. Why do you idolize Chris McDonough?
I don't idolize Chris McDonough.
Boys to prison.
Well, probably because he didn't molest kids when he was little. I like people like that.
You like people that molest kids when they're little? Really?
No. That don't.
Well, then you got me fucked up, don't you?
Yeah, I guess I do, but can I ask a question now?
Yeah, you really do, man.
Can I ask?
Fuck off with that bullshit.
Can I ask a question now?
You. No, fuck you.
Oh, okay. Well,
got me way off base.
You should have read the Bible more, buddy.
I love my children.
I didn't say you didn't. I never said you didn't.
Oh man, you just gonna sit here and run your mouth.
Yes.
Like Mr. Chris McDonough going after little 14-year little boys. What the fuck's wrong with you?
It's just sickening the way he just goes about telling information. It's so creepy and odd.
Talking about how other women have hit on him, and then he shifts his thought process back to children. It's actually about kids. They like me the most.
That was my thought too. What are you even doing in a place like that, for one? And why wouldn't you immediately call the cops as soon as you left there?
Somehow Summer got out of that house either by somebody she knew, somebody that had familiarity with that property, okay, or random abduction, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, but a lot of people have weighed in. That didn't happen.
Well, it's not just your opinion, it's also the card team's opinion.
Yes, it concurred.
When the one who did it is getting away and laughing his ass off about it, it just freaks me out.
So you don't think there's no way at all that Candace or her mom could have done it? Or not her mom?
No.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
You really are? You know them that good? And her mom,
I know.
Her mom that good?
I know Candace.
Right.
Well, Candace was putting a knee brace on her mother. Summer went down into the basement.
All right, did y'all catch that? Early on, Dawn said Candace was putting a knee brace on her mother. It's part of the script.
Oh.
See, everybody keeps forgetting about these details.
Right.
When the boys were upstairs playing on their games, when Summer went down the basement,
Candace walked in the door. Where's Summer? Oh, she's down. She just went down the basement.
Right.
She goes down the basement. When she's down the basement looking for her, my neighbor hears a scream.
Oh.
Okay.
You know, we've had problems with threats and violence and all kind of things like that, and it's been dangerous.
It's clear how many think of him.
It's been dangerous not only for us, but for everybody that we're involved with.
Summer's older brothers were taken by Child Protective Services back in July. A deeper strain now on their parents' marriage.
Me and her have had a lot of problems because of this. And we're both just down and miss our kids. And don't exactly know how to deal with all that.
It's got to be a predator. Only a predator would come up here and take our daughter. This is not going to be somebody like, oh, I love you, Summer, and I just want to save you from a bad situation. 90% of the time when someone takes a little girl or whatever.
Or whatever. Like Summer didn't even matter.
Or even, it's for 90% of the time is because they're predators. So it's just not good. Somebody has hurt her, probably sexually, maybe beat the fuck out of her, probably killed her. Let's be realistic. This ain't gonna be good. And because of all the pressure and YouTube and the TV shows and everything else, they probably wanted to get rid of the evidence and they probably killed her. I mean, let's be realistic.
I mean, she tried to sleep with Dad. I mean, you know, hellfire. I don't know.
I don't
slept
think
with everybody.
No,
She slept with Rick. She slept with Sherry's husband. She slept with all kinds of people. I don't know. Dude.
Really?
She slept with all kinds of people.
Oh, I don't know about that, Donnie. I wasn't there. I just wanted to let you know. You know.
Mary, got him.
Sorry. I just wanted to let you know that.
Oh, it's okay. I mean,
I'm just giving you a heads up, you know.
She can try. I mean, when are they going to go down and press charges? When are they going to do it? I mean,
Today.
Oh, today.
There's not much hope in this world. You know, we have to trust God that there's hope in eternal life. We know that she was taken off our property, and we know she was taken away in a vehicle, or they would have found her in the area if she was somewhere in the area. But who's responsible for her? We don't know.
Well, I know who's responsible for her. His wife and him are responsible for her.
I asked Don and Candace when was the last time they heard from investigators.
We haven't lately at all. It's been a while, over a year, I think. I haven't talked to any law enforcement at all. I tried to talk to the FBI agent about it, but that didn't go anywhere.
Don says he feels that he and his wife Candace were targeted by the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office.
They intimidated us, they belittled us, and done everything they could amidst all the chaos, and then the CPS was there doing the same thing.
When asked about how he thinks about Summer's disappearance 3 years later, Don spoke about a Department of Children's Services investigation.
They said somebody had called and said that we was giving our kids loaded guns to play with. And so they closed the case June 14th, which is something CPS does not do. They don't just close cases. So it's really odd and mystifying why they closed the case June 14th, and then 24 hours later, Summer's gone.
Summer's mother, Candace, sat in for part of our interview, but got up after a few questions.
She was going to try, but her emotions are just too much.
The last update in the Summer Wells case from law enforcement was an age-progressed photo released in June of last year. This image was released by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
How does that make you a man?
It don't make me a man. It makes me a man because I admit that I made a mistake.
Okay,
can
I ask you about Summer?
Neither can you. What have you done?
Can I ask you about Summer?
What have you done in your life, you little?
Get it all out, Don. Get it out.
You made mistakes.
Yeah, sure.
You're not perfect.
I'm not.
You ain't nobody.
No.
You're not.
Nope.
You want to sit there and play like you're high and mighty?
No, I don't.
Like you've never done wrong? I would like to know really about your past.
Have at it.
You ain't nobody either.
Have at it.
You've made all kinds of mistakes, but you know what? You ain't man enough to admit one mistake you've ever made in your life, are you?
Well, I regret taking this phone call since you won't ask me or let me ask a question.
Yeah, I'll bet you do because you're a little and you talk just like in Trevor Lee. You're a Chris McDonough wannabe.
I am.
My name is Dee. Thank you for watching. Have a great afternoon and a great night.